you might be seeing some odd choices being placed in, like you might be seeing bushes be put in bathrooms, because yes, I did use the bush, the Judy calls bush, for the toilet, because there were no other toilets that started with the letter D. Hello YouTube, my name is sezrawrr and welcome back to my alphabet building series in The Sims 4. If you're new to the channel, I build houses in the shape of letters of the alphabet because I'm actually really not good at building, so I make silly builds on purpose. So another little element of this challenge is with all of the build by stuff, so all of the furniture and all of the wallpaper, flooring, windows, doors, even like the roofing stuff, it all has to start with that letter of the house. It adds just a little bit of an extra challenge and extra dynamic. It makes me use things that I would never normally use in my builds, and trust me, there's a lot of things in this build that I never normally use. We have previously done the letters A, B, and C, which means that today we're up to the letter D, and I came into this house with a game plan, specifically for the shape and for the roofing, because roofing is one of the things I struggle with the most. But let me just tell you guys straight away that out of all of the letters I've done so far, this was the most challenging, but not in the ways that I was expecting. So honestly, I really thought that the hardest part was going to be building the frame of this house. Well, not so much the frame, but the roofing. Like, I had a game plan, but you know, sometimes things just don't go right. So building the frame was super easy. And then the roofing, I had this idea of having so many different pieces to create hopefully a seamless look. But the first go that I did of the roof, it wasn't quite as seamless as I was hoping. So it really took a couple of goes with the angled pieces especially to get a more seamless look. It's still not perfect in the end, but it's the best that it's gonna be. So then I thought about making the house bigger, because this is a small lot and there is some space around the outside of the D house, but when I made it bigger, it just looked really odd, and I did still want to try and put some landscaping on the outside of this house. So I ended up keeping it the size that it is. I feel like it ends up working nicely. Just the inside of this house is a little bit small, that's all. So now you can see I'm putting in the floor plan of this house, changing the different spaces and figuring out the layout that I wanted this house to be. So why don't we pause the speed build for a minute and I'll actually show you what the layout of this house ended up being. We've got the front door down here and we've got this one big open room. So I wanted this to be open plan, living, kitchen, and dining. I felt like that was going to be the easiest way to have those spaces because these rooms are only 4 tiles wide. It's a very small space, so I felt like having it open plan was going to be the easiest way to make it flow nicely. So then up in the top of the D here, this is going to be the master bedroom. We're going to have a bathroom here, which is both the ensuite bathroom and just the main bathroom in the middle here. And then this is going to be a home office here. In the middle of the D, I knew that I wanted this to be like a courtyard space or maybe like a garden space. I wasn't sure at the time that I started this what it was going to be. So let's get back to the speed build. Let's get to furnishing this house with items that start with the letter D in the Sims catalog. And honestly, this was the hardest part. It really was, in trying to I mean, you're seeing here I'm going through the windows at the moment. This is how I have to do it, because if I put D in the search, it's going to come up with every single word that has the letter D in it, whether that letter D is at the beginning of the word or in the middle of the word. It's going to come up with every single thing that has the letter D in it somewhere. So I have to go through each single item and find all of the ones that start with the letter D. So I'm picking out the doors at the moment. So this glass door is what ended up being the inside door, and then I used the door that's at the front there, these windows for the windows there, and the smaller windows that were at the beginning earlier are what I used in the bathroom. So finding the wall tile as well, I had a couple of options. I kind of wanted to mix it up and have some different wallpapers in different rooms, in different spaces to make it better. So we've got the distressed brick for the outside, but the really big tile that you can see there, I end up using in the kitchen and in the bathroom. And you can see we've got a couple of other wallpaper swatches. We've got the dinosaur wallpaper that, yes, the dinosaur wallpaper wallpaper does get used in this build. Amazing. I know you can't wait to see it. So now we're really gonna start. We're gonna get into furnishing this. So I did cut out me finding the main staple furniture because it took a long time. It generally does take a long time. I'm starting to put all the essential furniture where it needs to be. You might be seeing some odd choices being placed in, like you might be seeing bushes be put in bathrooms because yes, I did use the bush, the Judy calls bush, for the toilet because there were no other toilets that started with the letter D, so that's just what had to happen for this build. Honestly, with this whole series, I've kind of felt like we're gonna have a lot of these moments where it's kind of bizarre, but the challenge is you've got to use items that start with the same letter. So this is the first instance of it really being quite crazy though, of needing to use the Judy calls toilet instead of a normal toilet in order to make this a functioning house. I was so scared that the bush wouldn't actually function inside, but it does. I've play tested it, so that's fine. So then the kitchen, I had so many hopes. Honestly, for this house, I had so many hopes. I wanted to have this really cute vanity in the bathroom, upper cabinets in the kitchen, but none of the upper cabinets start with the letter D. So I had to use these like little round things that came with the Dream Home Designer pack thing, and they're not even upper cabinets, they're drawers. So it really doesn't make sense to have them, but I needed something up there, and it's just what I had to do. And there's no shelves that start with the letter D, so I couldn't have any shelves. It was just so difficult. I had this like dream of having the other end where we just had the dining table be this gorgeous dining space, but it just didn't work. I didn't have enough of what I needed to have a dining room be functional, so I did a bar instead and moved the dining room. Oh my god, it was just such a struggle. And as I was putting the main staple furniture in there, I'm like, this house is going to be awful. It's going to be so bad. There is no salvaging this house. I don't know what I'm gonna do to try and make it look like a nice house, but in the end, once the decorations get put in, that's really where it all comes together, and like the landscaping, that's really what ties it all together, and it always ends up making the house look a lot better than it's supposed to. The vibes of this house are super strange though. In some areas I feel like it's more modern, in other areas I feel like it's more like classic vintage feel. These curtains give such a classic vintage vibe, and they're what started with the letter D though, so I had to go with them. But it's just different vibes, and it's very strange. It just definitely makes for a very strange build. Like I said, it was the most challenging letter I've had to do yet, and I was not expecting that to be the case. I was so stoked when I got the frame built because I was like, oh yeah, that's the hardest part done. No, it was not the hardest part done. So at this point, I'm just kind of looking around going, what can I put in? Because it feels so empty, but I didn't want to put too much to them where it feels like just super bizarre, because it does feel bizarre, but it also feels empty. So I needed to try and find some more things to try and make it feel a little bit more cozy rather than just bizarre and strange and different vibes everywhere. I think I ended up making it work again once the decorations come into play, but up until that point I was just stressed. I'm sitting here going, this video is going to be bad, this build is going to be awful, it's the worst build I've ever done in my life. I'm really excited to show you the decorating though and how the landscaping came into play. So that is the end of the speed build. As always, I don't show you the full thing because I like to walk you through the full thing, the finished product. So let's get into showing you the finished letter D in The Sims 4. So here it is from the front, and I didn't even mention it at all in the speed build. There was so much light happening in the speed build, and it's because the roofing that was available in the letter D was like the diamond hatch glass roofing. So that's the roof that was used for this house, was this glass roof, which is why there is so much light in this house. Like at all times of day, there is so much light. If this were a real house, you would just burn inside this house. This house would be like in summer, you would just die. You would catch fire. But for the purposes of this challenge, it's what I had to go with. So then we've got some beautiful plants at the front. The landscaping is just always what ties it together, because I was looking at the windows that I had to use going, this is gonna be so bad. And then just like the landscaping makes it look not so bad. So we've got a nice big tree over over there. So this is what you see when you come up to the house. This is the first thing that you see. So let's go inside and take a look though. So when you walk through the front door, you're greeted by another door, but then we're going to take a little turn to the left. We've got a digirad keyboard. This roof is just so open, which is another part of the weirdness. And then we've got the random brick splashes, but it's the only way I was going to be able to make the roofing in the shape that I needed it to be. So then we've got this little mud rack thing with some shoes, thanks to the Dream Home Decorator pack. Oh my god, yes, finally having clutter shoes. Amazing, love it. So one of the things I really struggled with was the only rug that came in the letter D was this rug, and this rug is not normally that size. It's normally about half the size of that, but it's the only rug that was in the letter D, so I had to size it up, and I used it in so many different places in this house in so many different colors. The dining room is nice and bright. I will also show you this in a different lighting as well, because I know it's super bright because the roof is literally glass. So I will show you this in build mode as well, so you can see it in different lighting, because it might be a little bit too bright. But you can see we've got the dining room, we've got the world's skinniest hallway down that way, but the dining room leads into the kitchen here. So the kitchen is again very basic. There really wasn't a whole lot of decor stuff that started with the letter D, which was rather unfortunate. This is all that I had to go with for the kitchen. We've got a little detergent bottle, and that's about it. So again, the drawers that I had to put up there for the upper cabinets, thank God they could be slotted so high, but it just doesn't look nice. So then normally on the other side, I would put like bar stools. I mean, there wasn't really enough space for bar stools or anything, but there are also no island cabinets that start with the letter D. So that's interesting, but let's make our way down this hallway to the bar area, and I wanted this to be rather formal looking. I feel like the curtains and the decor that I used here make it look rather formal looking, even though the bar itself looks a bit more like a modern bar. So through the door into the master bedroom, this is what you see. I absolutely love the wallpaper from the Paranormal Stuff Pack. It's amazing. The bed I've never used before at all. I don't generally use that bed, but it works for the space. You'll see I've got those rugs again sized up because they're the only rugs that start with the letter D. So the bathroom is all green. I really like the vibes. I felt like I kind of needed it to just be green because of the duty calls toilet bush that we've got right there. So yes, it does function. Like I said, it functions like a toilet anyway, so that's fine. We've got some benches here. No decorations again because there's no decor items that start with the letter D. Seriously, these mirrors are tiny and not what I would have used, but they just had to do the trick. I put these vines behind here because at least that was going to be some kind of decor. We've got the bath here, the corner bath that I absolutely love. Thank God there was a bath, and the shower, thank God there was a shower that was starting with the letter D. So I actually don't mind this bathroom, aside from the fact that there is not an actual toilet and I don't really like the mirrors, but I don't mind the bathroom aside from that. I love the color scheme. The floor tile is super gorgeous, came with the Courtyard Oasis kit, and it's not the only time that I use this. I use this in the kitchen, but in the brown and black swatch, and I use the brown and black swatch again in the center of the letter D as well. So let's go to the home office though, and then we will get to the middle of the letter D. So this is what we've got for the home office. There's a lot of like skill objects here. We've got the robotics stuff here because that started with the letter D. Dr. Budget veterinary crafting table, like the treat crafting table. We've got a little computer over here. So there really is quite a few skill items with the digirad keyboard as well, quite a few and a variety of skill items as well. So then we've got the center of the D. So this is the door that you see when you walk in the front door. There is another door from the master bedroom as well though. So let's go through this door and have a look at this courtyard. Again, I was struggling to fill the space. I originally had a punching bag in the middle there, but I couldn't find enough to fill this space. That picnic table is the only seating that starts with the letter D for outdoor seating, and there just wasn't enough in plants or anything to really make this like a landscaped courtyard. So we've got the little picnic bench. These wedding arches are super cute. I thought they were really cute over the doors, and then the pool is really just what I needed to fill this space. So all of the stuff that you see in this pool, this water starts with the letter D. see. And again, I used the floor tile from the Courtyard Oasis kit, and I did use the tile that I used in the kitchen as well, the wall tile in the walls of the pool there. So I think it's really cute. I think it came together quite nicely. This is definitely more of an entertaining place than I thought it would be in multiple different ways. Is it the perfect house? No, definitely not the perfect house, but I still quite like it. It was definitely a challenge, but it's got some charm to it, I think. So let's go into build by really quickly, and let me show you it just in a different light, maybe on dusk. So we've got the lounge room here, and then swing back around into the dining room, the kitchen. Now you can see it's not so bright. You can actually see some of the things a little bit better. And then we've got the bar area once again, looking quite formal there. The master bedroom as well. The colors, I just love the wallpaper. It's amazing. The bathroom again, and the home office. I really just wanted to show you in different lighting just for the purpose of the lounge room and the dining room though, so that you can actually see what's going on in here, because it was a little bit bright. The courtyard looks really nice in this lighting as well. I think that looks really, really nice. I love the colors. So then this is it from top down view. You'll see we've got some trees about the place. We've got the glass roofing as we had before. I feel like this looks really nice from this point. I mean, completely disregard the fact that you would die in this house, that it would be a nightmare to live in this house. You would never sleep past 5 o'clock in the morning in this house, but I really like it. And then this is it with the roof down. You can see the floor plan better from here. So if you would like to put this house in your game, I do have to mention, as I always do, there's a lot of packs that are used in this house. As a matter of fact, it may be all of the packs that are used in this house. There's a lot. I generally don't think about how many packs I'm using in this house though, because I have to filter through to find the different things that start with that letter. I search through the entire game. I am lucky enough to be able to have all of the packs. I never expect anyone to actually download these houses and put them in their games. So I just go through, search through the entire game to find what I need to make these houses. So if you have all the packs, you'll be able to download this house and put it in your game. It'll probably be the case for a couple of the packs that are listed, like my first pet stuff. There's only like one thing that gets used in this. It's a lamp, so there's probably a couple of these packs that get used where it's only one thing that gets used. So you can try your luck if you like, or you can just completely gut the letter D house if you like. But the point is, it is going to be on the gallery. My gallery ID is sezrawrr, the same way that it's spelt here. There's just no plays on the end, that's all. So you'll find it under the letter D house. So you can download it and put it in your game if you like. I'm not expecting you to though. But guys, that's all I've got for this video of building a house in the shape of the letter D. It definitely was the most challenging yet, but I'm still quite happy with the results considering how much of a challenge it was, and it's some of the things that I had to use. I still really like how it came out. It was definitely a challenge. I cannot wait to get to the next one though, which is going to be the letter E. So if you'd like to see me build a house in the shape of the letter E, or any of my other Sims builds, I recently built a house in the shape of Australia as well, because I live in Australia and I was up for the challenge and it was definitely a challenge as well. So if you'd like to see any videos that I make in the future, hit the subscribe button down below and hit the notification bell next to it to be notified of every time that I upload. And if you liked this video, let me know by hitting the like button down below and leave me a comment as well. Let me know which room in this house was your favorite. I really like the bathroom actually, and I love the master bedroom, and I love the little courtyard pool area in the middle as well. They're probably my favorites, but let me know what yours are in the comments down below. But guys, I hope you're having the greatest day ever, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!